Welcome to another Thursday Thinks. Today's Thursday Thinks is all about people's misconceptions. People assume certain things when you say you have horses. So today I'm going through some of the ones that I've encountered. Some of them are going to be more specific to me. Some of them you may have heard yourself, or you may even thought them yourselves as well. So hello, welcome. Those of you who are joining me live, let me know in the comments below. If you're watching on replay, say #replay, say hi. I'd love to know that you're watching and that you're enjoying this. So today is I think number 20. So it's so exciting. Can't believe we've got to 20. And I hope you're enjoying these. I certainly am. It's getting me chatting at a screen, which is great for me. Let it off my chest. So the first misconception that I come across when I tell people that I have horses, or when people find out even that I have one horse, let alone that I have 5, is that I'm rich. If only. I am not rich. Then you add in the fact that I have 5 horses and they're also on our own land, and that I technically live on a place that's named a farm. They really, really think I'm rich. That is very, very, very wrong. I'm 31. I still live with both my parents and my grandmother at the moment. There is a lot of people with a lot of opinions, lots of personalities in one single house. That's something that a person of my age wouldn't willingly do if they had other options. Now, not to say that I don't love living with the people that I do, because they're amazing people, but sometimes I do need space on my own. But all of us banding together has enabled us to have the place that we've got, and it's our own little paradise, something that all of us would never have dreamed of that we'd have together. So we've got it and it's amazing. But no, I'm not rich. Far from it. I am broke all the time. So the other misconception that I have come across a lot, and that people really, really assume, is that I wake up really, really early. I am not a morning person. I'm not sure if anybody really, well, I'm not, no, there's some people that are, but I'm not. I am very much not. There are certain activities that I do in the morning. There are certain things that I do as part of my horsey routine in the morning. But the fact that my horses are on a Paddock Paradise track system means that they're not in stables. They do have them, and they do get cleaned out, but there's only the odd poop in there, poop here and there, and they get cleaned out in the evening. They don't get mucked out completely. I don't poo pick the fields. The poop that's there in the field gets left there in the field. There's only certain things that I clean up, that I clear up, and yeah, it's in the evening and it takes me very little time. My morning is mostly taken up by the major, making sure that he's well fed, because he's 29, bless him, with bad teeth and a bad digestive system, so he needs all the love he can get. And then Egypt takes up all of my time after that, because he's a very fussy child. And then the others just take up whatever time I've got left after that before I go rushing to work. So my next misconception is that I'm posh. As soon as somebody hears that you have a horse, they assume that you're a posh person, that you went to private school. But yeah, no, I am not posh. I am very far from it. And whilst I have been brought up to speak English well enough, she says, if she can't find any better words, I'm far from posh. The most I do for you is I put a lippy on, and even that's hard for me. So no, I'm not posh, and I don't spend all of my evenings in breeches and posh jackets and posh hats. No, no, no. I am in my wellies. I am loving life in my wellies. I am far from posh. I am far from rich. And no, I don't wake up early. And those of you join me, hello. Let me know in the comments below if you've had any misconceptions, or if you had any assumptions about people when they tell you they have horses. I'd love to hear what you think and what you've experienced. So The next thing that I've got on my list is that people assume that I have expensive tastes. They assume that horses are expensive, which in some ways they are, and they assume immediately that I have expensive tastes, that I expect really extravagant gifts, that when it comes to birthdays or Christmases, and I just don't. I am quite happy with feather earrings, or if you've been with me for a while, you know that I identify as a green witch, which means I'm very much of the earth and animals and things like that. So if you buy me something with a feather on or a plant on, you quids in that, I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it more than expensive piece of jewelry. I can't do much with expensive pieces of jewelry because I'm with my horses most of the time. It doesn't help going out with posh jewelry when you've got dirt under your fingers 90% of the time. So my next misconception that I've come across is that I never have time to do anything else other than my horses. Now, this is true in some ways because they are my passion. I love them to pieces, so I do willingly spend a lot of time with them. But when something is important to me, I make time for it. Like if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll have found that I have started taking up kickboxing classes. Now I went to I think it's about the fourth one yesterday, and that's something that I recently made time for. So it ties into the next misconception of that no, I don't want a man, that I don't want kids. Wrong, wrong, wrongy wrong. Because nobody thinks I have time, or that I prefer to spend time with my horses than to find a partner, to find the opportunities to have little rugrats running around the place. Now, I think this is wrong, and most horsey people, I think you'll agree with me, that yes, okay, we do need a certain type of person, a certain type of man who will accept that we've got this hobby, that we've got these important creatures in our lives that mean more to us than most people in our lives ever will. But if you say follow Susie, if Susie's called horsemanship, yes, I talk about her a lot, but she's a perfectly good example of this. She is engaged to the lovely Joe, and he wasn't a horsey person before he met her, and yet he's an amazing guy, and she found him, or they found each other, and they're in a world of a time. If you don't believe me, check out her Facebook page. She quite often does live events now with her other half, and yeah, they've got a really great future ahead of them, I think. So she's not an anomaly, and I'm fairly certain I'll find somebody. Don't you worry. As soon as I do, well, yeah, it's in the cards, people. It's gonna happen. So, next on my list, I'm often considered weird. This is a very big yeah. Okay, it's not a misconception because I am weird. I'm unique. I do things my own way, but I think people start looking at me oddly when I talk about my horse's energy, as in not just their energetics and whether they're jumping the fence or something, but more of the fact that I'm tuning into Egypt's energy, I'm tuning into spring's energy. Always energy's a little bit off, or all my energy is not right for this situation. Yeah, okay, I can understand why people think that's weird, especially if you haven't done the work on yourself that I have done and tuned into that energy. And yes, okay, I'm wearing a crystal, but let's ignore that, people, if you've got issues with it. I don't care, this is the way I do life. But yeah, so people think I'm weird because I start talking about horses' energies and my energies and how those tie in together. If you don't get it, that's fine. But it's not, I say it's misconception in the fact that they think it's just hoodoo and it's just weird. But if you get into the natural horsemanship way of doing things, you start to realize how much your intentions and your focuses can affect your horse and the way they do things. So it would be something that if you'd ever come across that and try that you'll start to realize is absolutely true and is something that's absolutely amazing that most people would never even try. I'm also weird in the fact that I talk about horse language as in they are all body language focused and there's very little vocalizations and stuff like that, and the people look at me weird when I say, oh, he flicked his ear, he's not happy with that, or oh, she's loving that scratch, and they're just like, whoa. Yeah, I get that you might not understand, but it's like your dog, or your cat. They have their own way of telling you certain things, and you have ways of certain understandings with them. It's the same as that, but it's half a ton of creature that can kill you if you get it wrong. Most people, yeah, I'm not getting to that. Oh, now within the horsey community, um, I know that there's a lot of stigma, or stigma, but a lot of people that hear that you're into natural horsemanship and they go, oh, for God's sake, that means that you ruin your horses, you have no control. The times that you do have control, you're showing off, and if you're out on the road in certain equipment, it's illegal. Okay, this is a big misconception, but I can understand why people have this one because natural horsemanship is a very big umbrella. It's anything other than the traditional. So, what some people call natural horsemanship, other people would never ever do to their horse. And some things at natural horsemanship, it just looks as though you're just there looking at your horse, and it's very delicate. And even I good luck to people that do that, and I think you're amazing. But some of it, is just beyond me. But natural horsemanship, when it's done in a way that works for you and your horse, is an absolute amazing thing of improving relationship with your horse, and you can almost become telepathic with this amazing creature. Now, I have talked about the benefits of natural horsemanship in another Thirsty Think, so go check that out. It will be up on YouTube, so find it in the archives. Also, there was the interview with Susie herself, with Susie School Horsemanship, so that's also on YouTube. Check that out. She's a ball of laughs, and you get an idea of what her idea of natural horsemanship is and why she's just so amazing. So, as far as I'm concerned, the natural horsemanship is good. And yes, you're in control because you've worked together, you've proved that relationship to get that control. And now I'm not showing off if I'm bareback on my horse, poodling down the road in just a rope hackamore. I have full control, and my horse is comfortable. I'm also comfortable, and also the fact that we've got the connection of me just sitting directly on their back. That you can feel so much more. You can feel so much more connection, and it's beautiful. So, and while yes, sometimes I do go past people and they've got their horse rigged up to the nines with a double bridle and all sorts of palaver on them, and I'm a little bit, yeah, okay. You've spent all that money on all that equipment to get your horse under control, and I've got a very temperamental horse in just a hackamore and bareback. I suppose it's just different approaches to the same situation. Maybe I don't know. I try not to judge, but at the same time, I'm just like, ee. So maybe I am showing off on the odd occasion. Now, people also think I'm weird because I have a paddock paradise track system, and that ties into my Greenwich nature. So even in the horsey community, they go, what the hell is that thing? And why are you restricting your horse? And why can't you just chuck them out in the field? And why are you going through all this palaver of buying electric fence bits and pieces and putting it up and taking it down? And why are you growing your own hay? Well, people, so misconception in the fact that it doesn't do anything. Well, it does do a lot. It helps your horse at the time when they're most likely to get laminitis because it restricts the amount of grass they can have, or helps them in also arthritis with the major because he's constantly moving around. His arthritis is a lot less than it was. There's so many health issues which do not arise from a track system that would arise in a paddock, in a standard paddock. Oh my god, my words. In a standard paddock, there's so many things that can crop up because the horse isn't moving properly. The horse is bored, and yeah, there's just nothing for them to do other than eat sugary grass. So it is actually good for the horse, and it is well worth having a look at. Check out my videos, I talk about them a lot. Go back through the archives, people. So the next misconception is that I don't work, I live off the bank of mum and dad, and that I have no brain. People. This one I find very, very insulting, and it also makes me laugh as well as pisses me off. So I do work. I am a qualified solicitor, and I have no need to live off the bank of mum and dad. So I think that is a very, very big misconception, but I can understand why some people may have it, because they do consider owning horses as something that the upper classes do, and they don't generally work, or if they do, it's not really, stuff. And they do live off mum and dad, but I don't, because I've got qualifications. I'm damn well going to use them. I use them for an amazing charity, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm good at it. And let's face it, I'm a solicitor that brings in enough money to support the hobby that I've got, to support my horses, and to pay my way in the world. Now, while I do say I'm a solicitor, and people go, oh my god, that means you must be rich, goes back to the first misconception. Let's bring it back. That is a misconception, because I work for charity, people. So it kind of doesn't pay like it would if I was working in a city law firm, say in London. I would be working all hours of the day, then I wouldn't have any time. Yes, then I would be rich, but I wouldn't have my horses, so I'd be miserable because I'm a country bumpkin and I love it. So I do have a brain, I don't live on mum and dad, and I work hard. And I'm also setting up, I've also got a business on the side, so come on, people. Come on, people. Naturally Will is a business. It is going places. Right. The next is that because I have horses, I go to shows. I go to country shows. No. No. I don't go to country shows. I don't go to any type of shows. I may go as a spectator, but I don't. Well, when I spectate, I'm a very judgmental person. So no, I don't go to shows. I don't see the point, because to me it is showing off, and I don't need to show off my horses. I know how amazing they are, and I don't see the point in putting them through all that stress of going to a show. It also stressed me out because I am not a social person. I am an introvert, and I'm very happy with that fact. And I don't need to put any pressure on myself or on them. And let's face it, that means bathing them, brushing them up to the nines, having a trailer, which I don't have, that's more money. There's the entry fees, which is more money. I just, no, doesn't interest me. The same with hunting. Now, people also assume that I go hunting. No, no. I do not see the point in an animal being run to the ground and pulled apart in an illegal activity just for enjoyment of a person or a group of people. No, if it happened to a person that they were chasing and then ripping apart, that would be murder. And I'm a Greenwich people. The earth, the animals are very, very important to me. That is not happening on my watch, not on my land. You try it, you're in trouble. So the other one that makes me laugh is that the horse does all the work. Come on, people. If you know a horsey person and you've been around them when they're around their horses, or if you've got horses yourself, or if you've even spoken to a horsey person, you will know that the horse does not do all the work. And while, yes, it may look like it when you're riding down the street, when you see all these competitions where it looks like the rider's doing absolutely jack, they're doing a lot, people. And I ride the horses because it's enjoyment, but it's such a strain on the body because you're constantly maintaining your balance. So you're constantly working your ab muscles, you're constantly working your back muscles, even your glutes and your thighs. Everything is always working when you are properly riding a horse. It takes a certain amount of fitness to do anything other than pure enjoyment poodle down the lane. And whilst you may see that horse poodling down the lane and going, oh, the horse is doing all the work, the rider's just sat there, you have no idea the amount of back work that's gone into getting that horse trained, to getting that horse ready, to building that relationship with that horse that they're happy for you to be on them, and just the pure amount of money that's been spent on equipment to go out. So that the horse is doing all of the work is a very big misconception. There is so much background stuff that has to happen to get that horse out onto the road or out onto that, I don't know, beach ride or show or anything like that. There's so much work that goes into it that it just makes me laugh when people say these things. So I can't see anybody mentioning anything in the comments about what misconceptions they've come across, so that's fine. So that is all the misconceptions that I've got on my list. If you've got any more, let me know in the comments below. I will be keeping an eye on the comments and I'll talk about them if you come up with any. I hope if you are one of these people who makes assumptions as soon as people say they've got a horse, have changed their mind. Or if you have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them and bust any myths and other such things. So that's me, I think. So thank you for joining me for Thursday Thinks number 20. I hope to see you next week for Thursday Thinks number 21. I'll let you know probably Monday what the topic's going to be and send out invites. If you want to be sent an invite, join the Facebook page and let me know that you've done that, because I don't always get a notification about who's done what. Check out the YouTube channel as well, where there's an archive of lots of different videos for you to watch over there. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to ask any specific questions or join a lovely group, there's a Facebook group as well, so check us out over there. And there's also Instagram, we're naturally_Willow for virtually daily updates on the herd. And I'll see you all next week. See you again then. Bye.